I imagine most people are aware of the rising female prison population numbers. And if you're not, well, it's time to get yourself acquainted. For the past half-century or so, the entire world, not just the United States now, but the entire world has seen an increase in female incarceration rates that far outpace that of males. In fact, the Sentencing Project, citing U.S. Department of Justice statistics, claims that in America, black women are the only sizable female demographic to show a decrease in imprisonment rates since 2000, whereas Hispanic men are the only sizable male demographic to show an increase. And white females have seen the largest uptick of any large group of people with a whopping 44% increase. It's worth noting that this growth in female prison population numbers has occurred despite the well-known reluctance on the part of law enforcement to punish women as severely as men. Most of the articles and sources I've mentioned so far cite statistics up to including the year 2016. But if you're a betting man, you would probably lay your money on the past couple of years continuing the trend, and if you really want to cash in on some big winnings, bet on the past 2 years accelerating the trend. In fact, I will go so far as to predict that in the coming years and decades, we are about to witness a wave of female criminal lunacy and a surge in female prisoners, the likes of which even God has never seen. And I don't think we have to look very far to uncover what is contributing to women's skyrocketing sense of entitlement, and what propaganda is emboldening them to think they are above the law.
Alright, do me a favor, try one more time. Deep breath, don't go so far in.
Is there a staring problem? Mind your business. You're allowed to carry alcohol.
That's interesting.
You're underage. You are. You're not allowed to drink it, and we did not
Open
drink
display on the beach.
What?
It's possession
Open
consumption.
Display. It's not open.
Open display means you...
What do you mean? That doesn't mean
You can see
anything.
it, yes.
Okay, you can see it, and we're not drinking.
Cool. What's your name? Yeah, you're not cooperating. Yeah.
I didn't disrespect you. I didn't do anything to get written up, did I?
Now you're causing a scene. Now you're causing a scene. You want to? Alright, I'll give you one more chance to give me your last name. Just be cooperative.
You're not gonna lock me up.
Okay.
You can't lock me up. I didn't disrespect you.
Okay.
And you don't need to write my name down either because I didn't disrespect you. I didn't do anything to you. You're mad because we thought we were drinking.
Alright, I'll give you one.
Because your brother left.
Okay. First of all, you're in possession. Where's your aunt at then?
She's on her way.
Okay, what's your last name?
You could wait here. That's like you wasted your time coming over here. You could wait here for her.
Okay, what's your last name?
You don't need my last name.
Okay, that's it. I'm done with you.
Release the Kraken.
Do you have cuffs on you?
No, man!
Get over here.
Don't talk to me.
Yo.
Don't touch me.
Alright, you're about to get dropped.
No, don't touch me! Don't.
Get over here.
What are you doing? Don't touch me. No more. We'll be shunted to the side. We have thorns, and our thorns carry consequence. It's time to be brave.
We're calling your parents.
And to our detractors, fuck you.
911. That's my number.
Women grab back! We speak! We yell!
Seriously? You're about 2 seconds from going to jail for public intoxication. Do you not understand that? So I would stop talking if I were you.
The revolution starts here.
Here, dude.
And we do what is right for us.
Don't reach for anything.
I'm not. I'm getting out. I'm getting out.
You're not Jessica LeBlanc. I know Jessica LeBlanc.
Okay, I know I'm not.
Put your hands behind your back or you're going to get tased.
I know it is hard to look at your own entitlement and privilege.
You're not allowed to beat me like that. Stop. I'm a woman. And they must die. It is time. The paradigm must be subverted.
Hey, you're under arrest. You're under arrest.
We are free.
Yeah, that's it. God dang! Hey! God.
Welcome to the revolution, to the rebellion.
Oh, what, you think I'm gonna attack him? Ooh, you think I'm gonna run? You see us at a cross country? I bet I could run
The bottle.
far away. Ooh.
Stop resisting, please! Stop kicking me!
I'm trying to not die!
A loud, vulgar, proud woman.
I'm getting it on video down in jail. You don't get to resist. I talked to my license number, you hate.
I'm nasty like the battles my grandmothers fought.
Stop or you're gonna get tased. Stop or you're gonna get tased.
We are here to be nasty.
Don't swing on the cop. Don't swing. Oh, it's a wrap now. No, ain't nobody got no video. It's a wrap. No. Black lives.
We are a planet of women, and you will hear us roar.
The fight for the right to be free.
Right now.
Hey, what the fuck did I do?
Ma'am.
What did I do?
What the fuck are you doing? Stay down.
You're not allowed to hit me and choke me like that!
Stop.
You're breaking my wrist!
Stop breaking your wrist.
Yes!
Hand behind your back.
We are pure! We are strong! We are brave! And we will fight!
Yeah, I'm a nasty woman.
Don't stare unless you're f***ing help!
I'm nasty.
You better let
6'7". Can you get out her too? Just kick me again.
I'm nasty.
You need to get the f*** off me! The trash!
To our refusal as women to accept this new age of tyranny.
Liars, cops, can put their hands on people like that. I'm a f***ing woman.
And our pussies ain't for grabbing.
I came to be a voice for all of us who've been grabbed by the motherfucking pussy.
Get in the car, please!
You really think? He grabbed my boobs!
I did not grab you.
People like to think feminism empowers women in a positive way, but they really don't stop to consider that the lawless female idiots listen to speeches like Ashley's and Rose's and Madonna's too. And the takeaway message they hear has very little to do with the liberating power of stupid fucking hats. Of course, every excuse will be made for these misunderstood little flowers. Left-leaning agencies and publications covering the jump in female crime and prison numbers often make noises about a patriarchal prison system unable to handle women's unique needs, or the old feminist standby gender-related trauma, because of course women are only ever victims of it and never perpetrators, don't you know? Or when they run out of excuses, they simply resort to special pleading that women shouldn't be jailed at all. I always love hearing how having a vagina should be a get-out-of-jail-free card. Everyone's favorite fallback, the drug war, often gets blamed as well. I've mentioned the drug war in other videos covering female offenders, but ask yourself this one question. Did the drug war magically stop targeting men? Why are male prison numbers not climbing like the women's numbers, if the drug war is to blame? And how much of what you saw in the mashup of women resisting arrest could be blamed on the drug war? Alcohol obviously played a part in some of those run-ins with police officers, and I'll address alcohol shortly. But it's legal, and not targeted by the drug war. No, the drug war's effect on prison numbers played out decades ago, and the recent spike, as well as the coming one I'm predicting, are largely due to the female ego run amok we witnessed in that video montage. There is no patriarchal system, there is no gender trauma, and there is no drug war causing these women to disobey orders from police and attack them. The only thing causing this psychotic behavior is their own sense of entitlement, reinforced by gratuitous feminist brainwashing. Personally, I'm not sure which I find more amusing. The fact that these women think they can order cops and the spectators around, or that they can demand that the spectators help them fight police officers and resist arrest. This after they've spit venom and fire at those same bystanders for having the nerve to watch the train wreck go down. The size of the ego required to assume that this is perfectly normal and acceptable behavior boggles the mind. But this is what you get when you start a rebellion for no reason, when all the injustices you're fighting are completely imaginary, as is the case with the women's marches and the Me Too movement. Women have never had it so good as they do in the Western world, yet here they are organizing a revolt against a society and system which benefits them more than any other does presently or has historically. And what really gets me is they are often fighting the enforcement of laws they themselves wanted on the books. Take this recent open display of alcohol on the beach incident. Now you may think it's a ridiculous law and these cops went too far, and I'm not going to argue because there's no need to even go there. If you oppose such laws and their enforcement, remember what begat bans against public possession and consumption of alcohol and public drunkenness. These are all legal hangovers from prohibition, in the US anyway. And who wanted prohibition in the first place? Women. And they got their way a century ago and enacted one of the most impactful and damaging federal laws America has ever had the misfortune of suffering. Women foisted prohibition on us 100 years ago at a time when we're told they were pawns and playthings of an allegedly all-powerful patriarchy. And incidents like this scene on a New Jersey beach clearly demonstrate we are still living with prohibition's regressive legacy today. Yet we're supposed to believe it's a sign women are still wilting before patriarchal tyranny in 2018 because male cops are oppressing them with the very laws they wanted on the books. And if you're going to tell me we can't blame present generations for what past ones did, fine. I'll believe it when the demands for slavery reparations go away. Now, to be sure, female entitlement didn't crop up overnight. We have been building up to this Me Too bullshit for a long time. Think about supposed rape cases like Mike Tyson's and Kobe Bryant's a few decades ago. Women going into hotel rooms of men they just met, and then society has to rescue these vapid tramps from the big bad wolves. What should have happened is they should have been told there is nothing in these hotel rooms that they need to get at besides the obvious. So unless they were dragged in there by their hair or something, whatever went on inside those hotel rooms is too bad, too sad. Don't want stupid shit to happen to you? Then stay out of the hotel rooms of men you just met. And today we still have the same thing going on. Another stupid bitch met sports ball boy and went back to his hotel room, surprise, surprise, and now she wants the rest of us to fall to concerned pieces over what happened to her afterward. She's never heard of all the sports ball boy hotel room cases? She's never heard of Mike Tyson, Kobe Bryant? She had no idea going into the hotel room of an athlete she just met was a terrible idea? This hasn't occurred to her? Ever? And it hasn't occurred to the rest of us that we don't need to entertain these frivolous cases and lawsuits? Take a moment to consider the genesis of the whole Me Too movement. Harvey Weinstein's so-called victims. Do you know anyone in your personal life who negotiates career advancement in hotel rooms? I mean, who does that besides these brain-dead actress harlots? Would you do that? Think about getting a call from your boss to finally get that raise or promotion you've been looking for. But there's one catch. You gotta come alone to a hotel room and negotiate it. Let's stop fooling ourselves that there is anything to this Me Too garbage, let alone something worth upending society over. For those of you who watched my last stream, recall the female sexual sadists of Nexium. Did you ever in your wildest dreams think that world-famous actresses would have sex slaves and be burning their initials into people's privates? Something is obviously very different about female attitudes and conduct recently. Ask yourself what major society-wide changes have gone down recently to influence the female collective unconscious. You can pass this off as mere speculation on my part, but 10 years from now, when women rival or outnumber male prisoners, do me a favor and remember what I said in this video. Just do me that little favor. And should my prediction come true, maybe finally then it will become clear to everyone why past generations of men didn't tolerate women shit-testing society every 5 seconds. And when you get down to it, that's all feminism is, really. One giant society-wide shit test. Bringing in millions of people from the undeveloped world who hate us, marching against fair elections, resisting arrest and calling male cops oppressors, Me Too, all of it. It's a shit test to see what Western men are going to do to control them.
We're going to take it all apart and dance on civilization's grave. What are you going to do about it?
Again, what are these women rebelling against? A world which gives them more than they ever had? And isn't it odd how as more men keep women out of their personal lives, fewer and fewer of these men end up in jail, and more women find themselves on the wrong side of steel bars? Isn't that just a bit too coincidental to be ignored? Now, of course, some men in more traditional minority communities haven't quite gotten the MGTOW message. They haven't quite put it all together regarding the implications of a Me Too world. But they will, and when they do, that is when female incarceration will kick into high gear. The future is female, all right. It's just not a very pretty future. I mean, did you really think women could step up, take the reins, and run the world without it all falling to pieces? For the hundreds of thousands of years of Homo sapiens' existence, they've been unable to do so, but after a few speeches by Madonna, Ashley Judd, and Rose McGowan, presto, suddenly they're capable. Instead of bringing out the best in women, as all the Women's March crones told us their advocacy would, the only thing it will do is hasten them burning it all down. Women as a collective do not possess the capacity to build civilizations. Sorry, but they don't. And a significant portion of them believe civilization building inevitably leads to oppression and therefore must be stopped anyway. An orderly society in their minds is by default domination by the architect. And the somewhat humorous, or at least ironic, realization for me is that whenever society attempts to correct the fallout from this Me Too takeover pipe dream, it will be under constant threat of lawsuit for oppressing these destructive female cretins.
The announcement this week that the officers involved will not be charged in the case does not sit well with her or her lawyer, Stephen Dick.
They just kept pushing and pushing and pushing.
They're women, they can do no wrong, and they know best, remember? Who do you think you are correcting them? So good luck with all this, Western world. The future is indeed female, and it's an unfettered, chaotic future in which women feed you hellfire and tell you it's ice cream. And congratulations on expediting its arrival by encouraging all this Me Too nonsense.
New generations of filthy, vulgar, nasty, proud, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Sikh, you name it, for new generations of nasty women.